Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ballet Rain. Today we are doing the ultimate ballet costume showdown, where we take beautiful, professionally designed ballet costumes from famous companies around the world and compare them against each other to find out which one is the best.
Subjectively. The costume we're going to be featuring today is Aurora's Act 1 tutu from The Sleeping Beauty. The Sleeping Beauty is a famous, well-loved, and iconic ballet that is performed all over the world, and I think this costume is one of the most famous and most quintessential costumes in the ballet world as a whole. And every company has its own sort of artistic vision for how they want the ballet to appear. So even though they're all performing The Sleeping Beauty, the costumes will differ from company to company.
So today we have gathered a few of these gorgeous Aurora Act 1 tutus, and they are going to face off in the ultimate ballet costume showdown to see which one emerges the champion.
If you're excited for the video, make sure you tap the like button and let's get going. So, Aurora Act 1, what sort of the criteria that we are looking for in the ideal perfect Aurora costume?
So Aurora is a princess. In this Act 1 scene, she has just come of age, so she's 16, so she's relatively young.
And in this scene, it is her birthday party. The royal parents have invited all of these people to celebrate her coming of age and her 16th birthday. And so naturally, she's going to be wearing her best.
The Act 1 scene really shows her love for life and just her excitement and her joy. So it has a very lighthearted feel. Classic Aurora colors. She's almost always in pink.
Some sort of pink or a lot more pastel, lighter colors.
So things that we're kind of looking for in these costumes are obviously pink, something princess core, something relatively fancy, and something that reflects Aurora's youth and joy and vitality.
So with that being said,
Let's go.
let's go. Let's do it. We have the laptop ready to go, and this is the preliminary round. We have 8 costumes in 4 comparisons in this round. So with that,
Let's do it.
let's go.
The first comparison is the ABT version of Sleeping Beauty. I believe this is the Ratmansky version. And then we have the New York City Ballet's version of Sleeping Beauty. Both of these are very striking costumes.
They're very, very different in the sort of approach they took with this costume. They each give it a very different vibe and different appearance for sure.
I like the ABT version because it really does look like a ball gown.
I agree to an extent because Aurora is a princess. That one definitely is giving me much more princessy vibes.
Yeah, because you really see the overskirt. You can see like the brocade. It's like a rich material. The bodice almost looks like velvet.
Yeah.
Okay, not velvet, but like it has a rich feel, rich colors.
I think it's also very unique that they didn't do like a traditional platter tutu. They gave her a sort of a fluffy bell tutu. So it does kind of have that sort of ball gown sort of feel, which I think is actually very nice.
It's cute. Honestly, I will say that the New York City Ballet is more trademarked to the classic Aurora.
Definitely.
From The Sleeping Beauty. She's known for a very light pink classical platter tutu, which I think the New York City Ballet gives us. I also like the color palette.
Yeah, the New York City looked a little bit more traditional.
Yeah.
American Ballet Theater looked a little bit more updated, a little bit modern, a little bit bolder. American Ballet Theater kind of looks more Disneyfied.
Yeah, like Disney vibe.
if I might be so bold.
Yeah.
But just like with the bright pink and just the shape and like the very bold detailing. And then New York City is just kind of what you imagine when you think about Sleeping Beauty.
I do love the flowers, like the real flowers on the skirt. It adds like a really nice, almost graphic detail. Like she really has flowers on her skirt. And the color palette's nice. I love the shade of pink for New York City Ballet. Oh, it's really lovely.
Oh, this is really tough.
Yeah, would you like to go bold and fresh and princessy, or would you like to go classic?
More classic.
I'm a classic girl, so I'm siding for NYCB at this point.
I'm kind of hovering in between, but the fact that American Ballet Theater doesn't give her a crown, she could be anybody if she didn't have a crown. What's a princess without the crown, right? So I'm gonna go New York City Ballet as well.
Yeah, let's go New York City Ballet on this one.
New York City Ballet wins this comparison.
Because we are classic girls.
Also, just those sleeves are ethereal. I love those.
It really is a beautiful tutu.
Yeah.
New York City Ballet wins. All right, second comparison of the day. We have San Francisco Ballet and the Australian Ballet. And both of these are very unconventional for Sleeping Beauty.
When I look at Australian ballet, it makes me think more Lilac Fairy for me.
Yeah.
Just because of all the flower petals on the skirt itself, and then also sort of the wispy things kind of coming off of the bodice. It definitely gives more flower. Also kind of more ethereal fairy-ish rather than princess.
Wow.
San Francisco.
They went much more
Actual realistic princess.
Yeah,
more
exactly.
so. It's kind of cool. They didn't go pink like the traditional Aurora wears, but
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Like it looks very regal and very royal, but not like that traditional what you think of when you think of a princess, you know?
San Fran looks more princessy. Australian Ballet looks more like ethereal fairy.
Yeah.
Oh, which one do we pick? The brocade was a cool choice though. It really has that like princess vibe. Australian Ballet is more whimsical.
It's not a bad or wrong choice by any means. I think just for my taste, I'm sticking with San Fran.
Ooh, I was about to say Australian Ballet.
Oh!
Because I feel like the whimsy kind of matches her Sleeping Beauty. And especially for even the rose petals, because roses and like flowers are such an iconic part of
Her
Aurora's
character.
story.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know anymore.
I don't know. Do we take both of these to the next round?
No.
Oh, we can only pick one.
I can only pick one.
We can only pick one.
Okay, which one? They're both so like different, but both so lovely. Oh,
I just like that in San Francisco there's more jewels. It looks more princessy to me, but at the same time, Australian Ballet is like, it's pink.
It's pink, yeah.
What's not to love?
Yeah.
It's pink.
It looks a little more magenta in this lighting, but I've seen a couple other pictures and it's definitively
It's definitely pink. But leave your votes in the comments below. Oh man, okay.
Okay, yeah, let's go San Francisco.
Oh,
it was a hard one.
This is a hard one, you guys.
Oh,
This is
okay.
hard.
Oh, so both so lovely, but we'll go with San Francisco for this round.
Okay.
Mariinsky versus Bolshoi.
Oh, this one's easy for me.
This one's very easy for me too. I'm sorry, Mariinsky, we love you, but Bolshoi has to take the cake with this one.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous.
It's immaculate. I think that for Aurora being a princess, she needs to have all the fancy fixings on her dress. I think that Mariinsky, honestly, it looked very pared down.
Yeah.
It looks like something you would wear just for like a recital or like an exam or something.
Okay, here's my controversial opinion, okay? Mariinsky, I feel like, is hit or miss with their costumes. Like their Swan Lake Act 1 costumes, immaculate.
Immaculate.
Gorgeous. Chef's kiss. Like, I will throw down all my money for one of these costumes. Like,
I
it's
know.
gorgeous.
It's fabulous.
But then the thing is, for their tutu, like the lead ballerina's tutu, it ends up, sorry, don't kill me. It ends up looking kind of just like a leotard and a platter tutu with some sequins on it.
It's very nice for other roles, like maybe for corps de ballet work
like
as well.
Kingdom of the Shades, I understand
and Kingdom of the Shades is normally a very, like it's supposed to look very pared down. It's supposed to look very streamlined and very minimal. Aurora, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is not the time to be minimal. This is go big or go home. Mariinsky, I'm sorry, we're going with Bolshoi. Bolshoi is immaculate. I mean, look at all the details. The front with like the satin bodice, and then the skirt with all of the ornate detailing, the sleeve and the way it drapes. Even the tiara is, it's exquisite.
It looks like a princess, you know, with all the lace and the gold. It's really finished, and there's that amount of detail, which is very beautiful. And I know that the Mariinsky Ballet has a specific vibe and a specific look that they want for their lead ballerinas. It's the same thing for Medora.
Medora has the same costume.
It's literally the same. It's just purple.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think for my personal taste, I would definitely have to go Bolshoi because
it speaks for itself. We almost didn't have to give our commentary on this one. This is very obvious.
But Bolshoi is the winner for this round. That's not to say that Mariinsky doesn't have beautiful costumes, but for Aurora specifically,
this didn't cut it.
Doesn't quite make the cut. Next one. Paris Opera versus Royal Ballet. Oh.
Okay, you guys know we love both of these companies. They're two of the biggest in the world.
I'm gonna say my opinion right away. Okay. I'm going with Paris Opera on this one. The Royal Ballet one. Okay, as much as I love the long sleeves, this particular tutu doesn't resonate with me. Maybe it's something with like everything's just too bold.
I do agree. The colors and then also just the bold detailing, like all these swirls and vines and things, and the red beads or flowers or whatever those are.
Yeah, like ribbons.
It's very striking and it's very beautiful. But if you take this and compare it with like
Paris
Opera or even like the Bolshoi one,
it's not on the same level for my personal taste. Although I will say that the Royal Ballet tutu does look beautiful, especially if you're in the audience. It seems a little more bold. You can really take in the details because you're a little more, visible. And I will say her crown is beautiful.
Yeah, her
It's
crown is
really
very pretty.
And
The Paris Opera one is exquisite. I think the very, very nuanced colors. It's more like a real story rather than a fairy tale. That's just a kind of approach versus the Royal Ballet. It definitely looks more fairy tale, which
Yeah.
is not a bad thing.
That's true. They
But
really
not a
lean
bad
into
thing.
that like
Yeah.
fairy tale vibe.
Exactly, but it just depends on what your preferences are. But I think just for our preferences, we like the beautiful soft colors of the Paris Opera Ballet. Also, the little crown is just adorable. What can I
It
say?
is pretty cute. Although I will say I like the Royal Ballet sleeves.
The sleeves are immaculate. I love the sleeves.
It looks like the Princess Aurora. You know, I feel like if anyone needs a half sleeve or 3/4 sleeve tutu,
It would be
it's
Aurora.
Aurora.
No, I totally agree. And they're both beautiful. I don't know. They're both lovely.
Yeah,
really.
I'm leading Paris Opera this time. Though.
Yeah, Paris Opera.
I think this is the Rudolf Nureyev version.
Beautiful, honestly. It's really, really nice.
So that was the preliminary round. We have narrowed down our 8 lovely, exquisite costumes down to only 4 lovely, exquisite costumes. So we will be back for the semi-final round where they will get narrowed down by half to
Yes.
only 2.
Semi-final round, let's go! Our first comparison is San Francisco and New York City Ballet.
For me, I'm definitely going towards New York City Ballet. I definitely like the classic pink.
The pink is pretty, and I think the sleeves as
Yeah.
well.
It
It
looks
looks
a-
like what Aurora is like to me. The costume kind of like
It's
fits
vision,
that.
yeah. Because Aurora to me seems like a very lush, very luxurious character. Even seen by her dancing,
Yeah.
it's all very like generous. And the San
I
Francisco Ballet seems a little more crisp and clean and prim, whereas the New York City Ballet has that sort of romantic, even though it's
Almost
not a romantic
whimsical.
tutu, but yeah, whimsical.
Yeah, I agree. I think New York City has to win this round.
Also, what's sort of hugely biasing my choice of tutu is the fact that the thickness of the tutu. Like I said
Yes.
before, the tutu can't look flat.
Yeah, Eden doesn't like tutus that flop when they dance. Like it can't look like a Pringle when you're
right.
dancing.
But the thing is, it can't be too fluffy.
Yeah.
Like, it can't stick up.
Yeah, it can't be fluffy and like untacked.
But when it looks, and it kind of sits the right way.
Yeah.
That it doesn't do this like weird, you know, when you take that like thin sheet of like plastic and you like
And you
wobble
flop
it.
it.
It can't do that. Again, that's not to everybody's taste. That's my personal.
Yeah.
taste. I love like the fluffiness of it, and NYCB has that for me.
The one thing that's going for San Fran is the diameter of the tutu itself.
Yeah.
New York City Ballet is known to have a lot smaller tutus, which is just their style and just their aesthetic. Honestly, if this were just a little bit wider, I would like it so much better. That's one of the things I like better with the San Francisco one. It's just that the tutu looks a little bit more expansive, and I think that adds more to the sort of high royal position that she has.
Also, the crown in San Fran is better than NYCB.
Agreed.
Like
agreed.
this whole beautiful crown thing, it's really
it's
nice.
really pretty.
Ultimately, all things considered, I still
Yeah.
have to go NYCB.
Absolutely.
I just can't let up on the pink, you guys. I can't let the pink go.
Oh,
Paris Opera version.
They look so similar.
They do.
They're so beautiful.
I can't decide, you
This
guys.
is hard.
I'm still going Bolshoi, I think.
I think I am too. Like my intuition says Bolshoi.
Yeah.
My heart is saying Bolshoi.
My heart like is just pulling towards the
I
Bolshoi.
think, like we said, the Paris Opera one is like a lot more muted, a lot
Mm-hmm.
like a softer color palette, which is lovely. But I think every 16-year-old girl would prefer, you know, a little bit more pink,
A little more
a
pink.
bit more of that coral peach color.
I do. That's probably what it is. Just the color.
I think it is, because otherwise the details are pretty similar between both.
Mm-hmm.
I think color-wise, I think it just adds a little bit more life. It makes her look brighter and a lot more
Yeah.
alert, and it makes her eyes shine. I like the brighter pink color for
Yeah.
this, and it's not like pink, not like a fuchsia or like
Yeah.
a hot pink or anything. It's a nice color, but
Yeah.
it has that, also the satin kind of makes it sort of reflective and just
Yeah.
like glossy and pretty.
I think I have to go Bolshoi too, because if you look at it, Paris Opera Ballet, like this could be like Raymonda, it could be anything. It could even maybe
Okay.
be Cinderella. But when you get to the Bolshoi and you see that like definitive pink bodice and the
Yeah.
definitively pink tutu and that kind of like look. It's very unmistakably Aurora.
Yeah, it just screams Aurora
Yeah.
to you.
Although
agree.
Paris Opera is still beautiful.
Yeah, they're both gorgeous.
But yeah, Bolshoi. My heart is saying Bolshoi.
Yeah. Okay, that is the.
The end of the semifinals. They're getting shorter and shorter.
I know. The next one's gonna be tough.
Oh my god, this is gonna be so hard, Jordan. Oh my god, Jordan,
I'm going to do a double flip.
Okay, final showdown. This is the final determining round before we crown the champion of the Ultimate Ballet Costume Showdown. And we are naturally faced with a dilemma.
The biggest dilemma.
We are faced with the gorgeous New York City Ballet Aurora Act 1 Tutu versus the Bolshoi Ballet Aurora Act 1 Tutu.
Oh,
You guys.
Oh, this is hard, you guys. I love both of them, but they have their own way of highlighting different parts of Aurora's character, but they're
exactly.
both distinctively Aurora.
New York City Ballet goes in a very whimsical direction. It has a very floaty, romantic princess sort of vibe. Whereas the Bolshoi Ballet goes more glitz and glamour kind of.
It's flowers or sparkles at this point.
I know!
And they're both distinctively Aurora.
You guys, before we make our decision, make sure you write in the comments who you think is the winner, New York City Ballet or Bolshoi Ballet.
And they both have the same sort of elements. The bright pink, not bright, but like the sort of that blushy peach color that's just kind of very happy and very lively pink. The fluffy, ethereal, floaty sleeves.
Yeah, one is more matte with like flowers and it gives a more cloudy kind of vibe. And then this one's more like a pink sparkly star.
I'm trying to imagine both of these as like a full-length gown because that's what a tutu really is. It's basically a ball gown but just chopped off by quite a few feet. I feel like if you were to look at these in like a long-ish dress for a princess's 16th birthday, I feel like New York City Ballet, like it'll look very girly and whimsical and
like romantic.
Yeah, romantic
sort
and
of.
flowy and very cute in that way. The Bolshoi Ballet is a literal gown. Like that's a sparkly gown.
Sparkly. It just really depends what aesthetic you're going for. Are you going for the cloud aesthetic or the star aesthetic?
Exactly, but like how can you compare a star and a cloud?
They're both beautiful.
They're
but
both beautiful. The more I think about it, the harder it is, Eden. We need to stop
we need to,
talking and make a decision.
The thing is, though, the New York City Ballet tutu matches their sets as well. If you can see in the background, they're like in an outdoor garden thing. So she has a very flowery, gardeny dress.
Right, because it's in sort of like a day party,
Yeah.
so it doesn't have to look like super formal. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a semi-formal, like kind of afternoon tea dress, you know?
Yeah. Whereas the Bolshoi, it's more like a ball.
Yeah.
And they're in the palace, and you see those massive chonkin pillars in the back.
But both tutus fit so perfectly in their respective scenes. We're making this even more complicated.
Yeah, you guys. I keep trying to break it down to find something that's objectively better, but I can't.
When in doubt, we consult the music. What would Tchaikovsky's music call for?
I'm starting to think Bolshoi just for more princessy vibes.
I'm kind of agreeing.
But like just by like
By
that.
like a micromillimeter.
Oh, I love them both so much, but I feel like we're choosing the star aesthetic over the cloud aesthetic.
I think so. It looks a little bit more rich.
Yeah.
And more royal.
Princess Aurora.
Princess Aurora.
Also, for a practical standpoint, all the sparkle and the gold are really gonna catch the stage light and make that much more magic on the stage. If you want more of that like fairy dust sparkly vibe, I think we're going Bolshoi.
Bolshoi also has a little bit extra skirt width, which I'm partial to. So they're both beautiful, but I think we have a winner.
The ultimate Sleeping Beauty costume, the ultimate Aurora Act 1 costume from the Sleeping Beauty goes to the Bolshoi Ballet. Yay! Oh, but by so close.
By this much, you guys. I think they both are equal in terms of like how they suit the scenes that they were put in. But beyond that, I think talking about the general concept of the ballet and the story with the music and the choreography and the character, Bolshoi Ballet's scene and costume kind of suits that the best. Subjectively, for our personal artistic vision, the Bolshoi Ballet
is crowned the ultimate Sleeping Beauty costume.
Yay!
So, there you have it, everybody. That was the Ultimate Ballet Costume Showdown, Aurora Act 1 edition. Of course, we'll say that all of the costumes that we got to see today are absolutely beautiful. And I feel like it's wonderful to see each company's different vision and what Aurora looks like in their head. And to see that on the stage in real life, it's a super special experience to see the different interpretations of the same classic tale. If you want to see one of these beautiful costumes in action on the stage, then we actually have a Rose Adage commentary that we did ages ago. We were like at 1K subs and very awkward. But anyway, it's a beautiful piece and we did a commentary on it. So if you're interested to see it, it will be linked above and below.
If you liked the video, then like the video. And if you don't want to miss the next Ultimate Ballet Costume Showdown, then make sure you subscribe to the channel because another one will be coming your way very soon. And you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, you don't. Anyway, I think that is all from us for now. This is Ballet Rain signing off. Until the next video.
Bye. So today we have gathered a bunch of them for you guys and we're going to sit down and we're already sitting down.
And we're gonna sit down.
We're already sitting down.
Step 1 complete.
Check. This is our preliminary round. How many rounds do we have?
We have we
Come on, Eden.